What's going on, y'all? Back again with another one. Becoming a better you. For my topic on this video, I want to go into, the four do's and don'ts of a, co-parenting relationship that you should keep in mind, and that I, keep in mind in my own life, in my co-parenting relationship with my son's mother, in order to, help things be as successful and as smooth as possible. First one I would definitely say is communication. Um, Obviously, even though in a co-parenting relationship, you're not together with that person, you definitely should have an understanding with that person and have, like I said, communication of, if something's gonna happen, if you're planning on doing something, if you're planning on taking your kids somewhere, you should communicate that with, the other parent. No matter, like I said, no matter if it's your child or not, because in the end, we both laid down. We both had made this decision. We both had this kid together. So in that aspect, no one person is over the other. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm taking him somewhere, I'm gonna communicate that with her. If she's taking him somewhere, it's supposed to be a communication. It should never be a communication block. Depending on whatever decision that you make as far as what school you might want them to go to, even if you're taking them to a barber, whatever, it doesn't have to be every little thing, but I would say a lot of things should be communicated. You shouldn't feel like you're in the dark, or you find things out later that you feel like should have been communicated to you in the first place. So I would say, obviously, the do is definitely communicate, but there can be also, don'ts of communication would be just a lack of communication, or just bad communication in regards to, you just not, you leaving little bits and details out of what you're doing, or where you might be going, um, with your child, and not telling the other person. So that's always something to keep in mind. Um, it's always is very important, I would say, just to have that communication. It's something that the child needs, because obviously the child is in the middle of the situation, so you don't want the child stuck in the middle of bad communication between y'all, when all you really could have did is just be more, cooperative, and just communicate more with each other. That way, the child knows what to expect, and the child doesn't feel as if they're pulled in one direction or the other. The second one I would definitely say is understanding. You have to have an understanding in regards to boundaries. Kind of goes along with the communication, but there should be like boundaries that's set of, like, this is something I expect from you, and this is, as a parent, that we not going to do certain things we're not going to do, certain ways that you might parent obviously going to be different than the way I parent, but I still want us aligned in a certain aspect of, you know um obviously our main values, as far as like making sure his homework's done, making sure he, you teach him the right values, as far as, if you want to take him to church and have him a part of, with God or whatever. Yeah, that's fine. That's something I was a part of, um, or just little things like that. Um, there should be definitely an understanding, and also there should also be an understanding of, okay, this is something I don't truly agree with. So I feel like with certain things, if there's a more of an understanding, that kind of goes, like I said, a lot of these tie into each other, but with the communication aspect, you communicate that with the other party. Um, there should be some respect there, because in the end, like, we still are, raising this child together. So there should be, at certain points, certain levels of respect of what the other parents' wishes are. Um, and that leads, like I said, if there is a lack of understanding, Then a lot of times you feel in the dark. You're wondering like, what is this person doing with my child? That I might not agree with. There's, like I said, there's certain things that, as far as we might have other partners. What I'm saying, I have a girlfriend that I've been with now for 4 to 5 years, and this is literally the only person that my son has been around for these last at least 4 to 5 years and counting. And I don't, God forbid if something was to happen between me and my girl, what I'm saying, at some point in time, then I will not be having no other female around him until obviously I know for sure that this is a female that I'm going to be marrying, that we're going to be, taking things to the next level. It's not going to be, what I'm saying, I'm not just bringing random people around. And, it should be vice versa, where I should now have to worry, you shouldn't have to worry about the other person bringing multiple partners around your child, because obviously what message is that sending? Obviously I understand we are grown and we make our own decisions. We can do what we want to do, but there should always be should always be a thought in the back of your head of, your child is watching you, your child is seeing what you're doing, so you want to keep that in mind and move accordingly. That's something I always keep in mind of, like, what my child sees things that I'm doing. Do I want him to see good things, or do I want to just say like I'm a grown up and I'm gonna do whatever I want to do? So, and he gonna be able to make whatever decision he want to make down the line once he's older. Because down the line, I feel like there would be a lot of regrets if you have that type of mindset. Next one, like I said, communication, understanding. The next one is respect, and I think obviously this is the main thing, and I even mentioned it. Respect. Like I said, if there's certain things that we don't agree with on each side, there should be a respect level of some sort in order to at least try and accommodate it in some sort of way for our child. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, like I said, just going back to the partners thing, we grown. I can't tell I can't tell my son's mother what to do, but at the same time, I would hope that she would want to respect at least my wishes and see, no, I've been in a relationship now for 4 to 5 years. What type of messages are sending to our child by you, what I'm saying, might potentially having multiple partners or whatever the case may be. Like I said, it's not, I don't want to, this ain't speaking personally, but I just want to just say this as something like, that things I've heard, things I've seen and before from other people I've talked to, so it's like I just want, obviously that's certain, the partner that you have around them. What if whatever they doing, they smoking, they drinking, whatever? No, you shouldn't have your child around that. You know what I'm saying? That's certain things. Like I said, if I know that that's something that your partner might be doing, I feel like I should. It's all well and good that they're doing that, but you should respect me enough as the father to know it's not something I'm doing now. That's something I turn the page on. So I would want you, what I'm saying, and even when I was doing those things, I would never do it in front of my child. And I know a lot of parents, they're okay with doing that. They're okay with smoking around their kids seeing them smoking, whatever, because they like, I guess it's an I don't give a fuck attitude, and I'm a grown up, and you. So then obviously down the line, your kids is smoking potheads, just like you was. Not, apple never falls too far from the tree. So those are things I keep in my mind, and I think it should be a respect level on both sides of, if I don't want, if she was not to want me to do certain things that might be, might not be the most positive things, I would respect that. As with her being my son's mother, I still have enough of a respect level for her. On top of that, downplaying the other partner to the next, the other parent to the, what I'm saying, never talk down on my son's mother, what I'm saying, around him, or, never say anything negative about my son's mother to him, because obviously he's too young for that. It's not something he's supposed to be exposed to. And it's certain things you just shouldn't talk about. Those grown-up conversations. If you do got something negative you want to talk about, you don't talk about it with your child. So yeah. And then the last, so communication, respect, understanding, and modeling. Now, modeling, I would definitely say modeling. You have to model. You have to model the way, depending on how severe the relationship might be. It might be, bad to the point where y'all don't talk at all, and y'all only just exchange your child, with each other. Or it could be decent where, I have friends who have decent relationships with their mothers, with their mothers, and the child's mother. And you should model at least, positive communication. You should model the respect, like I said. You should never argue with them in front of your child. You should always just show them, even though we're not together, there's still a certain level of respect, a certain level of, just even love, that we can have without obviously being intimate. But I just love this love and respect for each other, just off the strength of being, you know without you, I wouldn't have been able to have my child here today. So obviously there's a certain love and respect that I'm gonna have for you, but it's just not intimate. We're not in a relationship. And I think that's something you could show your kid, that even though you might not end up being in even though your relationship might not end up working down the line when you have a relationship with a girl, y'all could still potentially, depending on how it goes, I could still be friends. It's not just a cut. You don't just cut things off, and you can still make the best out of the situation without being disrespectful, without showing them that you don't care about them no more or whatever. Like, just being bigger than that, and understanding that your kid is constantly watching you. So how you move, how you act, that's something that you always have to be cognizant of, especially when they're around and they're with you. So obviously, not doing this, can have a detrimental effect on your kid by showing them, oh, I can do, that they can he or she could disrespect their other partner, or things like that. So you got to think about them growing up and them getting to a point where they're going to be in relationships, and you want them to handle relationships in a manner that's respectable. And you only can look at yourself in the mirror down the line once you realize, oh, they doing these things. Why they doing these things? Why they acting out the way they acting out with their partners? And it's like, obviously, look in the mirror. They was looking at you. They was watching you. So those are my main points that I want to touch on. I think these are very important. Obviously, a lot of times, relationships, marriage might not work out, and you might be in these situations down the line. So, it's just things to keep in mind, and just having that emotional intelligence to, keep these things, in the forefront of your head, and show your kid what to do and what not to do. So that's the last I want to speak on this. It's part of becoming a better you. It's not a overnight process, but it's something that with the tools given here, you can definitely put these into place, keep these in the back of your mind, going forward when dealing with your own situations. So hope this helped y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.